little shirts, so it looks like I'm more fit.
I mean, it looks like it might be a football player. Like I don't know. Like,
It's the shirts, man. It's an optical illusion. No, I joined the army, man. That's what did it.
all right, we're gonna launch in and we'll just have a good time. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday, and I'm sorry we're gonna have to cancel the show today. Bill messed up my music last week. I made a promise to you all. If my music wasn't changed, I'm gonna shut down the studio. Throwing that back, I'm turning to Puff Daddy and shut down the studio. I'm just kidding. We can't shut down the studio today, guys. We have such a great show for you. Thanks for tuning in. Know the Scene, Tuesday afternoons, your weekly dose of what's going on in the scene here in Lake Norman and the towns beyond. What do you do? Who do you do it with? What do you eat? What do you drink? What do you see? What makes culture? What is a culture of a region? And what is our area's culture becoming? My name is Justin Dionne. I'm your host, Executive Director for Cain Center for the Arts. And we're super, super excited to have a wonderful guest on today. Comedian, speaker, coach, veteran, dad, Mike Goodwin. Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
what's up, man?
Thanks so much for joining me today, sir.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. If it's gonna be anything like just the 2 minutes we have before the show, we're gonna have way too much fun.
It's gonna be a good time.
I'm
man.
excited, dude. In that Iron Paradise shirt, just showing off the bulging, rippling muscles.
So I was telling Justin earlier, hey, this is just an optical illusion, man. I just wear little shirts. I'm really not fit. I just,
I don't know. We're gonna see this weekend.
yeah.
I'm gonna bring my measuring tape to measure the biceps.
Well, here's the other thing, Justin. People are running up on stage after comedians. I'm like, okay, you come up here if you want to, but it's not gonna be a good time.
It's not gonna. Yeah, no. All right, I'll get extra security. Noted. Noted.
No, I
Extra
don't think we're
security.
gonna have that problem Saturday, but
So Mike, so if you guys haven't picked up, Mike is performing this weekend at Cain Center for the Arts, Saturday night, kicking off his Big Dad Energy Tour.
yes, sir.
Man, I'm so excited that you're coming, and I can't thank you enough and tell you how grateful we are that you decided to kick your tour off with us here in Cornelius and Lake Norman.
Hey, I love it. I'm a South Carolina guy. Y'all did rain down terror on us in football this past weekend as the state of North Carolina, but I wanted to do
I wasn't gonna bring that up.
Hey, we got no censored, all no holds barred. We're talking about it all, Justin. We're hitting all.
We're just in it now.
We're hitting all the hard topics today.
Let's just dig in from the start.
We're talking about politics. We're
Oh,
talking
no.
about recipes. We're talking about grass fertilizer, anything. No, I'm just kidding.
All of it. Grass fertilizer too. What's going on with grass fertilizer? That piqued my interest.
Hey, that's serious business right there. People don't tell you what type of fertilizer they use, and they want to keep the advantage.
That's right. Well, that's a conspiracy right there. You know, the fertilizer is just a way for them to get to you.
Yeah.
That's the deep state.
They have microbes that will identify your yard.
That's right. All right, I love it. We're going crazy. So Mike is a comedian this weekend coming in. He's so much more than that. We're going to talk about that today. Mike, so for those who have not seen you on America's Got Talent, or maybe not seen you on NBC or your Dry Bar Comedy or any of the YouTube stuff you got on or anything like that, give us a quick synopsis background for those at home about Mike Goodwin.
Folks, I am Bill Cosby without all the extracurricular activities off the stage. I'm all. I didn't know if I was going to say that. Is it too soon? I didn't know I was going to say it. But is it too soon? But that's me. Like I'm a wholesome family. I'm on stage and off. Like I'm consistent.
You're like
no,
Huxtable, actual Huxtable.
I'm the real life Phil Huxtable, but outside of being a doctor, I'm a comedian. And I kind of struggle with that because Cosby is that was the pattern. I mean,
right.
I work clean. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I mean, I mean, I remember I'm a fan, so I've been. Our most recently probably was like 2014. I went to a Cosby concert in Columbia, and there were three generations of people in the audience, and
Wow.
that's what I aspire. I want sons, fathers, and grandfathers, granddaughters, mothers, and grandmothers to be in my show.
Well, so you hear that, folks. So that means that this weekend everybody can come see this show, right? So Mike says Mike does clean comedy. So like
Right.
you talked about it a little bit right there, but tell me a little bit more because sometimes people go, oh, clean comedy. I mean, oh, okay.
Right.
So like, oh, so it's not funny. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's guys, it's gonna be very funny, right? So tell
Yeah.
everybody what you mean by that.
Yeah, people, and I don't even like to say clean. I
Right.
say clean to let you know it's family friendly, but it's the type of comedy that you think about a good steakhouse. Like if a good steakhouse was doing comedy, that's me. Like it's elevated, it's sophisticated, it's a ambiance. It's a good time. So and I'm an adult. I've been married for 23 years, so I'm not using language, but I'm talking about everything that we all encounter. I've been
Right.
married for 23. I have children.
Congratulations.
My comedy is for people with mortgages, with goals, aspirations, living wheels. Like this is an adult. This is
And we
not
can
for
help you with
children.
that if you haven't done a living will, by the
We
way.
just knocked it out. We just did all the things. We just did it.
We can help you with that too. We know a guy.
Justin, we just did it. I can bring the notebook when doing one of these commercial breaks.
Oh, you just did one.
Yeah,
Oh.
we got the notebook in the other office.
Is there anything funny about the living will process?
It's a lot of funny stuff, but you can't laugh. Like they really are serious. I'm cracking jokes.
And they're like, sir, this is serious.
Sir, this is life and death, sir.
Specifically the death part.
The death part is very important in this process, sir. But I'm just saying, they don't. It's like TSA. They don't play. They don't like to laugh. They don't laugh either. Those are not funny people. Those people.
Living will and trust lawyers don't play. They're like, no, sir. I'm paid by
They are the TSA of the land. They are not in the air.
I can imagine like you're trying, and they're just like stone.
I'm just nonstop too, especially when I see a little crack. I'm like, oh man.
There it is.
But the other thing, you don't want the meeting to go. Oh, it's already a long meeting. You signing stuff already, so don't make it longer.
Don't make it longer.
Don't make it longer, because then my wife, I'm impacting my quality of life. Because my wife, she got to have a conversation with me after the meeting. We got to have a meeting.
A meeting after the meeting.
She got to have a meeting about my behavior in the meeting, and so.
Yep, that's never a good thing.
You're never good. When you hear your wife say "really," that's not good.
Is that really? Is that
really? Is this the time for jokes, Mike? Okay.
Listen, I gotta say, your lovely wife though, she is on it. She is on it today. Like I don't know if you heard. I got just a little nervous because like we sent your agent like the Zoom link info and hadn't heard for sure. So like I'm almost scrambling and I'm like texting my like director of operations. I'm like, can you please find Mike's wife's number, please. And
60.
I call your wife. And I'm like, leave her a message. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is Justin. I'm bothering you. I just want to make sure Mike's coming. And she was on it. She was on it.
Yeah, she doesn't mess around.
No, I love it. Is she kind of helping you out like in a managerial sense too?
Yeah, she's like all things, right? She's like COO, CFO, like it's Team Goodwin, man. Like,
That's
we're
awesome.
all in
30
this
seconds.
together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What a cool. So see, like it's great because those values, obviously, like you live those values that you talk about in your comedy. You live
this is
those
not an
values,
act, man. This is the real deal.
That's awesome. All right, well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back with more Mike Goodwin. We're gonna talk about how he got where he is now. All right, come on back. Know the scene.
Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne will return after this short break on WSIC.
So Mike, just so you know, we're gonna stay live on Facebook and stuff. So if anyone's I mean, you're a clean comedian, so I don't gotta worry about it. But you know,
This Saturday,
I guess I don't gotta worry about
We
it.
don't have to worry about the FCC necessarily.
Right. Yeah, we're not
on
having
Facebook. Don't get put in Facebook jail though.
I don't know my fans though. It's different people.
I love them, man. I hope they're tuning in. I gotta get on now and see if. Let me see if we got something. I know. Again, man. I really appreciate you doing this. This is a brand new show, and I'm just kind of having fun doing it, man. So
No, man. Anything we can do to get the word out.
Yeah, yeah. When I appreciate getting it, it's one of my things is to get to chat with y'all. You know, like get to talk to the performers and people that are coming through. Is just a cool treat for me.
Yeah, man. So how old is the center?
What's today? September 5th. We are 8 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we opened in January 3rd, on January 3rd, 2023.
Oh man, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we're brand new. You're the second comedian.
I love it, man.
Yeah, second comedian to come and come and perform. And you're bringing a opener with you too.
Yeah. A guy. He's actually from that area. I mean, he's more
Is he?
upstate. Yeah, he's from it's outside of Rock Hill. I think people kind of just appear. You like, hey man, you gonna be at this thing, and they just show up.
You're gonna show up, just do some yeah, great.
Because he had a show at his church, and it was in Rock Hill. So I don't know if he lives in Rock Hill, he lives in Charlotte, I don't know exactly.
That's cool. Now, how old are your kids?
So I had a 13-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter.
Oh wow, that's got to be an adventure.
Yeah, I'm in the thick of it, man.
I can't. Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I'm in the thick of it. My daughter's driving.
I was getting ready to say, is she driving now too?
Oh, driving to school. It's a different world, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was telling some people at the gym, they were complaining about having to drop their children off. I was like, you better enjoy it. You better enjoy it.
I just started that, man. My daughter just started kindergarten last week, and I'm doing the drop-off line.
So much fun.
Yeah. And she loves it. Like, she's like all in. Like I mean, one day they said we could walk them to class 2 days. I walked her to class the first day. Second day, she's like, don't walk me to class today.
I'm out of it.
Yeah, she's like, 'cause I'm a big kid school now, so I know what I'm doing.
I'm over this.
And I was like, dude, that was it.
About 30 seconds.
And now she's like, bye. Okay.
Man, imagine them leaving she drops her brother off at school.
Wow. Now y'all are in Columbia now, right?
Right.
Okay, but you're from Camden.
Camden originally.
All right. I want to, if we can, this next session, I want to ask you a little bit about take us through your story, man, a little bit of your background.
No doubt.
I think that's always cool to get into, especially with your story, the transition. How you got into
on the new
military and teaching and all that stuff.
105.9 WSIC.
'Twas a time when I was on
Know the
my
scene.
own.
Here we are again on Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening live, thank you for tuning in, WSIC. By the way, if during the show at all today you would like to chime in or ask a question of Mike, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. You can call in and talk to Bill on Billy Boy, and he'll get you on air with us. Also, if you have the means and want to and aren't driving, don't do this while you drive. Tune in on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, all that stuff. You can watch the show. You can actually see us and see Mike as well. So yeah. So thanks for listening. Know the scene. We're gonna continue with Mike Goodwin playing this Saturday at Cain Center for the Arts. I'm gonna say it. I don't think I've said this live on air right now, but there are less than 30 tickets left.
Less than 30?
Less than 30 tickets left.
Come on, folks.
I know. I wanted to sell it out during the show today. I wanted to do the first ever live sellout. So if you're listening today, go get them tickets. And I was gonna I told my director of ticketing I was gonna call him today throughout the show and do it live and give his ticket updates, live on air.
I love it. Come on, people.
Yeah,
it's
let's
gonna
do
be
it.
A great night.
It is. It's gonna be an awesome night. So cool thing about Mike as well, everybody. If you weren't aware, again, amazing resume. He's so talented, hilarious, been on so many things. But he's from the North Carolina, South Carolina area. He's from the Carolinas. Born and raised Camden, South Carolina. Population 8,213.
I'm glad you said that. I never know the numbers.
Google. Sorry, I cheated. But I Googled it when I was doing your research. I was like, oh, that's a small town, man.
A small town, yeah.
That's a small town.
Small town.
What's
it's
that?
a town, legit town.
So what's how? So I would love if you can, man. Tell us Tell us how you got from Camden, South Carolina, and went on your journey, man. From, I mean, if I'm recollecting correct, you do military, you go and get your degree from USC, you become a teacher, and then at some point I would be a comedian.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
I grew up in small town, horse area, where they're known for equestrian
Okay.
and football. I think the southern towns are big football hotbeds. But I got cut from the middle school team, so I wasn't a part. I wasn't a part
So
of
you
that.
did play sports, see?
I went out for the teams. And I remember going to see the list that was outside the coach office. My name never appeared on the list.
You just kept waiting.
I would go up there. I'm like, are they using invisible ink on this? Do I have to get a lighter to see my name?
And then you just light it on fire. You're like, no.
Oh, there's no more list.
That's right.
I'm on the team. Yeah.
Right.
I was not. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. I was a kid. I ran a little bit of track. I played a little basketball. Nothing notable. No record books. I would have to remind people that I played. And then I graduated from high school and joined the Army. Went into the military. I'm the oldest of three, and I just really basically understood that for me to kind of chart the life that I wanted for myself, I had to get out of Camden, and I joined the Army. And I spent my first, I guess, 8 to 9 months in the Army out in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. That's Lawton, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Which was pretty interesting. I kind of went full circle. I spoke to the University of what's the state? Oklahoma. Yeah, I just spoke to the Sooners.
Yeah, the Sooners. Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to the football team, and I was telling them I went to basic up the road in Lawton, and only thing in Lawton that I saw were skunks and pawn shops. That was the only thing that were there back then. But went through basic training, and then I spent a year in Korea. So that was my first duty station. I was in Korea, and then from Korea I went to Fort Stewart, Georgia, which is outside of Savannah, down in Hinesville. Got out, went to college in Greenwood, South Carolina, at Lander University. So I got a bachelor's, at Lander. Then that's where I met my wife also. So shout out to my wife, Rosalind. We'll celebrate. We just celebrated 23 years, August the 12th. And then from there, I went to the University of South Carolina and got a master's in higher ed administration. And so that's when the comedy started happening. Basically, I was at my church. So I was serving in the media ministry at my church. And there was a comedian, like a professional comedian, who had joined our church, and he was kind of changing his life. He was a secular guy, and he wanted to do more wholesome, family-oriented comedy. So he joined our church, and I just struck up a friendship with him. I would run jokes and ideas by him, and he allowed me to do that for about 30 days. And then one day he said, "Hey, look, man, this is some good stuff. Either I get on stage and perform it, but you're not going to get any of the money that I make." This is what he told me.
At least he was honest about it.
Yeah, that's what he said. I mean, he kind of deboed me onto stage, because he said, "I'm not going to give you any money, but if you get up and perform, you can keep the money." And I said, "Well, that sounds like
that sounds like a plan."
Yeah, that sounds like a better option than option one.
I'll take option 2, please. Yes.
So I went up at my church. It was a surprise. I did like a New Year's Eve service, and I got a standing ovation first time. I went up.
Wow, that's awesome.
I rocked it. It was incredible. And then I bombed for the next 2 years. I was
okay. But isn't the bombing a part of the journey?
It was a big part of the journey. It was the journey for me. There's some comedians that say they haven't bombed, so I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah,
to not bomb.
Like to never have bombed.
Like a quarterback that never thrown an interception. Like, what are you doing? What are you just handing the ball off to people?
Right. Yeah. Not even attempting. Oh, that's it's like you're not even attempting.
Yeah. Like, you gotta bomb. Like, it comes with the territory. Yeah. So I bombed for 2 years, but I just kept at it.
Did you work like local circuits there in Columbia? Did you go all over?
I was all over the place, Justin. Man, I drove to Greenville, South Carolina. I drove to Greensboro, North Carolina. I drove to Raleigh. I drove to Charlotte. I went to Charleston, South Carolina. I just got in the car and went to, because that's the biggest issue as it relates to why people move to LA and New York. They get access to stages at a higher rate than you do in
There's
other cities.
more options. Sure.
Right. You can go up in New York. You can get on 5 stages in a night. You know,
Wow.
you can go from this stage to that stage. Here
You can
in
bomb
Columbia,
5 times.
bomb 5 times in the night. So you're going to accelerate.
That's right. You're getting closer.
You're going to get all the bombing out of your system.
Right.
When I'm just bombing once a week, there's a lot of bombs still in there. You
That's
get
right.
5 bombs out.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm only getting 1. You only got 20 bombs in there.
Yeah, you still got to get them all out.
You got to get them out.
Exercise.
So they can get them out in the first 2 months, and I'm 2 years still moving these bombs out, man.
Is that so? So am I hearing right? Like for a while, you mostly stayed. I mean, not that you didn't go other places, but like you did a lot of your work in the region, the southeastern region, basically.
In the southeastern region, and particularly in churches. I mean, I think I just did churches for about 4 years.
Oh, nice. There's like a whole church comedy circuit, huh?
There was, and the guy that I started with, he was only doing churches, so he wasn't doing clubs anymore. He had gotten out of clubs. So by the time I went to clubs, I had
Church
some
practice,
material.
yeah.
I had some seasoning, but they were like,
Is there like
right.
a big difference in the audiences? Like, I mean, I can imagine, right? Club audience.
Yeah, I
church
think
audience,
it's similar. I
like-
used to say it's like going from high school to the SEC or to, a big Power 5. Like the
Interesting.
speed of the game is so much faster.
in a
Like,
club.
In a club, so much faster.
Interesting.
Like just the jokes, the delivery, you don't have the time to, hey guys, you're doing good tonight. Oh, look at you. No, they want
They're
quickness.
like, go rapid
Like,
fire.
who are you? Because number one, they don't know me. So that's the first thing. When you're a comedian, no one knows who you are. And they're kind of sitting there waiting whether or not they want to laugh. They're
Make
like,
me laugh.
Yeah.
Like it
And
doesn't
then-
help because they don't even know you, so they're not even coming in thinking they're gonna laugh.
And then with me, I am in a suit and a bow tie,
I
looking
know, man.
like
I love it,
the
man.
professor of humanities. They're like, man, I'm definitely not laughing. And I'm not using language. They're
Oh,
like, I'm
man.
definitely not laughing at this cornball.
Ah.
And then I started talking, and it's like, oh man, this guy's funny.
Yeah, I love your swagger, man. I think it's awesome.
I appreciate it, man.
I
So
think
yeah, and that's how I got started. So I just kept at it. I had a job at the time. I was
Yeah,
working at a
were
private
you
school.
teaching still? Or
Yeah, I was working at this private school. I taught a class, but I was the college counselor at this Episcopal school,
Okay.
helping families navigate the college admissions process. And that was like my full-time gig. And I would just do my stand-up on the weekends.
And during this time too. Sorry, I'm not sure the timeline, but like were your kids around at that?
Yeah. So
point
at this
too?
point, if you talk to my wife, she would tell you she didn't think she was marrying a comedian. So this came out of nowhere, so to speak, as it related to my professional aspirations.
Because I was
But
like, you're like traveling on the weekends.
Yeah, and we
So-
didn't have children at this point. I
Okay.
think when I first started, there were no kids involved. And then I think maybe my daughter appeared out of thin air from somewhere. And then I still I was at it. Yeah, I was at it like 4 years before she showed up.
All them bombs just brought your daughter out.
Yeah,
60 seconds.
along with the bombs, there was a daughter in
And then
there.
it's like, boom, daughter. Bomb dropped. There's daughter.
You dropped the real
I love
human
it.
bomb out here. And then, so I'm doing it.
And then your
I
wife's
was-
like, get off the road.
yeah. Well, that was the other thing. My wife was like, "You go, I'll be here." Like,
That's so cool how awesome, man. She really is.
My
She
wife
is
has-
Team Goodwin.
she is Team Goodwin. My wife has never put me in a position where I had to choose.
That's amazing.
30 seconds.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome. I'm excited. So she didn't travel with you.
No, not
Like
initially.
like-
Initially, she just said, "Hey, man, go do your thing." Like if I was going to play pickup ball or something, she was like, "Hey, I'll be
That's
here when you
awesome.
get back."
All right, family and comedy. We're gonna have to take another quick break, and then we're gonna come back. More Mike Goodwin coming up after the break. Everybody, know the scene. Y'all ain't here, they ain't here laughing. You cracking them up.
Yeah, I don't know if this stuff is falling.
My,
Like,
show,
I
my,
have-
my, my show's the fun show.
I can't see the audience.
It's
Yeah, they were
landed.
talking
It's landed.
It's
about-
landed.
hey,
That's
they were talking
Bill.
about water. They were talking about water out there.
They were,
Yeah, you had a tough act.
I know.
I was like, "Woo!"
we,
We're on Facebook.
we're live on Facebook. No, we definitely come in after the show before us. Like they are wonderful, man, but they're a little bit heavier. They tackle a little bit
Yeah.
heavier issues.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah,
always come in with the like, musicians, comedians,
Messing
brewers.
around.
Yeah,
They talking about
here I come in
life.
with my shenanigans.
She was talking about her 80-year-old mother, and we in here playing.
I know. Talking about bombs and kids appear out of nowhere.
They talk about alkaline water in the
That's right.
medicinal benefits.
Hey, look, see, Michael's listening more better than I was. I was out there too busy freaking out that Mike wasn't here.
Like, yeah, I got all these messages. Hey, man.
I was like, Tim. Tim's like, I got it.
Like, I turned off my camera.
Tim's good, man.
Yeah, solid,
Seems like
man.
good dude.
Good people, man.
So
I got
how?
a good team.
Say what? Sorry, what?
I said, got a good team, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in here too, if that's cool, real quick.
Yeah,
Mike,
just-
question for you. How you doing, man? I'm Justin. Nice to meet you.
A second, Justin.
Justin.
This is a different Justin. Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
He's
how
the
you
owner.
doing?
He's
How
the
you
owner of
doing?
the
How you
station.
doing?
All right, there we go.
I wanted to see, man. So like your story and how like you came to become a comedian, and you were talking about just kind of a little bit of the process. What kind of advice could you give to like somebody who's new in the game? Maybe they're looking to start a career in this. What would be some advice now that you're layers deep into it? So what would you tell maybe the next generation of people who want to be in the game?
You want me to share that on the thing, or that's the
You
question?
can go right now, man. That's good. This is exclusive digital content for the digital
exclusive
family.
digital content.
Outstanding. I would say, number one, think of yourself as an entrepreneur in addition to being a comedian. Now, when I started, I was 100% comedian and didn't have an idea that, oh no, I'm starting a business. Like this is something that can be monetized. So think from a strategic position along with creative, artistic, because at the end of the day, you got to sell tickets if you want to be successful. And
Thank you.
And I'm getting to the point like, man, we gotta try. Like you can get so caught up in booking things and going and doing, but you got to say, hey man, I want to bet on myself, and can I sell tickets? Can I get people to leave their couches and to come and spend the evening with me? So I would hammer down on being mindful of building your audience. As much as you build your set and your skill on stage, you have to build a following of people that are locked in, they support you, whatever you're doing, it resonates with them, and you're bringing people along on the journey. I had the idea, like, I'm gonna go get really good, and then I'm gonna come back and get people, and that's hard.
Oh, we're back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Know the Scene here live with Mike Goodwin, comedian Mike Goodwin. Continue our conversation. Mike's playing this Saturday night at Cain Center for the Arts. You can get tickets, cainarts.org. Less than 30 tickets left, everybody. Make sure you get them.
30, y'all.
That's right. It's gonna sell out. I'm telling you, it's gonna sell out. And if you've been listening at all today, you know that you don't want to miss it. So if you've been listening, I'm pretty sure you've probably either already bought tickets or you're going now to buy them, which you should, because Mike's great. And you should bring your whole family with you, because he also is a clean comedian in a way that's good for the whole family. So Mike was just talking during the break. Justin Gazeppas had a great question for Mike. Said what advice he would give to people that were getting started. And Mike, I'm gonna summarize just for a minute. It gets back.
Yeah.
Mike, he said treat it like a business, which is something great, because our guest a couple weeks ago, Cain Cox, who was one of our musicians that came and played too, he said the same thing. He said he's like, the thing is I'm an entrepreneur. It just turns out that I also play music. And so I was like, it kind of, you echoed a little bit of that same idea, So at what point in your journey, when we were talking, you were like, all right, so you're on the road, you're sparing the weekend, you're doing shows, Southeastern, your amazingly supportive and fantastic wife is like,
Right.
Hey, you keep doing your comedy thing on the weekends, and I'm okay with staying here with our baby daughter.
Right.
And you're still working, like you said, at a school as a college kind of counselor. Are you full time now, comedian? Or are you still balancing?
Yeah, I've been full time in stand up for 11 years. I'm going to year number 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the click for you that allowed you to make that jump, I guess? Because I'm sure you still had, like you said, as an entrepreneur, you had to make that jump.
Yeah, one of the things I said early, I funded the dream until the dream was able to fund itself. Meaning, don't quit your job. Build up your entrepreneur endeavor so that when you're able to transition into doing your business full time, it's healthy. There's foundation.
Yeah.
A lot of times people get in conflict with their job. They think their job is the thing that's holding them back from their dream, but your job is really your biggest investor into your dream. Like,
Oh,
you
I love
wouldn't-
that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to be as successful pursuing the dream if you didn't have this solid foundation. And I had the ants, I was a little antsy. I was
Yeah.
like, once I started getting gigs, I was like, oh, it's time to leave. But I'm like, no, I got a mortgage. I have a wife. I have a lawn to care for.
Yeah.
I just can't be out here
That's right. Okay.
sleeping in my car.
No,
Like,
no,
I have responsibilities
I'm an adult.
of others. Yeah, I'm not 14 or 18 or whatever
Yeah.
the age that these guys strike out to Hollywood, right? So I was well aware, and even a portion of that time I was in the reserve. So I'm working full time.
Oh, you were in the reserves at the time too.
Yeah, I'm a husband. I'm a father.
Man,
so
you were hustling. You were hustling.
I was getting it done, and I was compelled. That was part of it. I'm like, I can't continue doing all of this, so I have to get this business firm so that I can, transition into it. So don't look at your job as a conflict. Look at it as a partner. Look at and learn. I think there's so many things to learn, and I'm benefited from having a job. You just operate in excellence in your job, and then you transition and continue to be in excellence in what you're doing, because you want to attract other people that you can hire and that you can employ, and they can help you build your dream. So
Yeah.
like, invest that into the people that you're working for. Help them build their dream, because one day you're going to desire for someone to help you. What happened for me, I started making about half of my salary doing comedy on the side. I think that happened like
Nice. That's
2
some
or
that's
3
some
years
extra
in a row.
side cheddar.
Yeah. That's so we started realizing, okay, we need to pay down this debt. We need to take care of these bills so that when we transition, we would not be under the financial strain of, oh, I need to have
Yeah.
the same amount of income for when I was working, then, because we didn't know what would happen when you made that transition. And so we just paid stuff, man. I think I put together kind of a plan of like a 3 to 4 year exit plan.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of loosely. I didn't, in my head, I was like, okay, we're paying off debt, we're saving, and I'm going to position myself so when I have to make that decision, that it's it wasn't comfortable by no stretch, but I was confident that it was a quality decision versus, hey, let's go see if this works, right?
Wow.
And it became uncomfortable. Like, I got to the point where I knew I couldn't. My job was probably gonna fire me. I just knew that I couldn't keep all the balls in the air. And
Yeah,
so,
your capacity is
yeah.
I mean, you've
it was-
expanded your capacity, but at that point, it's just like you're not.
And it felt like a never-ending story, because I would work all week, then I would leave work. Often I would leave work on Friday, jump on a flight, and go and do a show Friday night,
Wow.
have something Saturday, be back home Sunday, at work Monday. Like, it felt like
Wow.
that's how it was happening. And I was like, I cannot sustain this. Like, that's part of the like fitness and wellness. I was like, hey man,
Yeah.
I got to get in this gym. I need energy. I can't be tired and wore out to write. Like, I got to get up early and write jokes. I got to stay up late and write jokes. I got to, create content. I have to look at the calendar, book flights, get hotels. Like, all those things require energy.
Wow.
And I think that's another thing I would say, man. Take care of your body, man. Like, really, figure out how to eat well, how to get the proper amount of sleep. Because as a young person, I used to operate off 3 hours of sleep consistently.
Right.
And I knew, I was like, all I need is 3 and I can go. But that changes the older you get.
Drink water.
That's right. Drink water.
Water, especially the water they were talking about on the segment.
That alkaline water.
You didn't want to drink the water I was looking at. They tried to give me that when I came in, and I was like, oh, it's like that.
They want your spot. They was
I
like,
know. They said, we want that 4 p.m. slot.
Put them out of commission for a couple of weeks. Take a sip of this.
Man,
Jeff.
Mike, I got to tell you, I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate your experience and the way you articulate that too. For me, as someone who was I went to school for theater and ended up on now my side of like, more leadership executive side, but
Right.
but I think that what I loved is, and I think if people are listening and if they have kids or nieces or nephews or themselves even, and they that think about doing this, anything performing based, anything arts based or anything, understanding that being able that one, it is a job. Like it is a job. Approach it like a job. Approach it
100%.
like that. Like you just said. I mean, you put thought, you put plans, you worked your butt off. You were making sure to take care of yourself because, as we all know, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't get anything else that you need to, right? I always say, like, look, I'm no good to my job if I'm not taking care of myself.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, man, and I love that. I love that you did that and you hustled, you made it happen, and then you end up on AGT.
AGT, man.
What was that like?
It was wild, and I don't think I would have done it had we not been in COVID. Like the COVID scenario, I'm sitting around at home and was like, hey man, I guess I can send in a video. I'm not doing anything else. And because I'm not that guy.
So you just sent in a video. That's how it is?
I did.
Wow.
Like some people.
No, I didn't know. I don't know if it's like your agent submits you or what.
No, there's a couple of ways. Like you can go to live auditions. There's a few ways that you can hit their radar.
Okay.
So they were accepting open submission. So I just sent a video in, and they loved it. And someone reached out and was like, "Hey, congratulations! We're gonna bring you in for." Because you're thinking you're making the show, but you're really not making the show. You're still
auditioning.
It's a non-stop audition unless you get a golden ticket or something. Like even once I did it and I got the 4 yeses in the taping, I still was concerned whether it would go on television. Like there's folks that go through this whole experience and it never airs.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You can get the 4 yeses. They say we love you, and your episode never airs. And that was
because there's like not a story or something, or like
in terms of numbers, they're just TV. It doesn't work. Like they get more footage than what they need, and then they whittle down.
They got to tell the producers got to tell a story.
Right. You got to go in with a story, and I didn't really have that mindset. I've got to go in with these great jokes.
Yeah.
And I should have been more heavy on the story. A little better story, but
I was just listening, man. Speaking of stories, folks, also on top of Mike also being a comedian, he also is a speaker and a coach. And I was just listening, and he has a podcast, by the way, which you should subscribe to. Although, like, you're not gonna hear any new episodes for a little bit, I guess. But there's plenty of other ones to listen to. Get your backlog.
There's a number of them in the
Get your backlog. But one of the more recent episodes, you were talking about the importance of telling a story, like when it comes to speakers, right?
Right.
And so Mike, tell us about tell us about the coaching that you do with speakers and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So what happened? So what I'm doing my comedy. I'm at these corporate events because I'm clean. So I can go anywhere. I can be at a church. I could be at a club. I could be at a school. So I'm in these corporate settings.
60 seconds.
And this woman approaches me and she says, "Hey, do you speak?" Now I was speaking with comedy, but I wasn't what she was talking about. I wasn't doing that.
Right.
But I wasn't going to say I don't because I have the ability to speak. So
that's right. I can.
I just kind of was like, "Hey, well, what do you need?" I was like, "Don't lose this opportunity, man."
That's right.
Matter of fact, I don't know. I think this is a good story to come back on the other side of the break. So don't y'all leave because this is a good
30 seconds.
Teaser. Yeah, we're gonna tease.
Oh, we're gonna tease that. I love that. So opportunities knocking, and my family, my wife and I say our family household motto is when opportunity knocks, open the door.
Open the door.
Open the door. So all right, we're gonna open the door after the break. More with Mike Goodwin. Know the scene. Come on back.
This is going fast, man.
It is. It flies, man. It flies. It flies.
More Know the Scene with Cain Center.
Sorry. Thanks again for doing this, man.
Oh man, I love it.
So I never know if this is like I just kind of they just were like, "Do you want a radio show?" And I was like, "Sure." That sounds like fun. So now it's like people come on and we talk and hang out and we see what happens.
Right. Sell these tickets.
That's right. Sell tickets. No, that's the truth though, man. I appreciate, like I said earlier, I do appreciate that partnership, like acts that really do want to partner, because sometimes you do find acts that like they're just like I can't get them to, you know, if our venue makes the listing of the 25 venues that they're playing on this tour, I'm
Right.
lucky. You know what I mean? Like, I'm lucky if we even make that list. So
yeah.
I always really appreciate, you know, folks like you that really go out and help to push it.
Yeah, man. This is my first go at it, so I like.
I know this is like the first tour. Is that what I read when you announced it?
First day of me selling tickets. Like this is number
That's
one
so cool, man.
in the history of me doing. Like I've done shows and I've been the head, but we've not had it. I'm the initiator of doing, you know, this.
I love it. When I booked you back last spring, Tim, don't please take this the wrong way. Like I was like with Tim, please take this the wrong way. Sorry, Tim. So Tim is selling me on Jeff Allen.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, cool. I'm like, do you rep other comedians? So actually, I approached Tim because I booked Eric Jones.
Okay.
Magician.
Yeah.
Because I saw him on our family's Disney cruise. So, and I was like, I want Eric Jones magician. And then Tim's like, do you like comedy? And I was like, dude, comedy's awesome. I was like, we have lots of comedians. Like, people love comedy in this area.
Yeah.
And he's like, we should get Jeff Allen. And I was like, I can't afford Jeff Allen. And like, cause the numbers he was telling me were crazy. And he was like, but then we did get Jeff, and he's like, hey, like, do you know Mike Goodwin? And I was like, I don't. He was like, but he's like Charlotte based, and I was like, let's do it. I mean, because I like the idea of like a local, you know, local oriented guy.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, he's like, dude, Mike's right there, like he can drive in, like it'll be great. And I was like, cool. And then like I started looking at your stuff, and I was like, oh, this is great. I was like, he's hilarious.
It worked.
So yeah, I was like, it's hilarious. It's great.
Yeah, man, it's tough, right? Like to kind of get attention.
About
to
40
sell.
seconds.
Yeah. But people want comedy right now, man. I don't know if you're
they
hearing
do.
it, but it's
They do.
comedy is like in the world that I'm in on presenting and stuff, comedy is like almost foolproof right now.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's just like people are eating it up. All kinds of comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's great. Like your sales and Jeff's sales have both been through the roof from the minute you put on sale.
Wow.
So yeah, it's great. If we don't sell a show, I'll eat my socks. Like it doesn't make sense if we don't sell a show. Are we back on?
5 seconds.
Bring on the music I hate.
0.7 WSIC.
Now I won't let you hear the end of it. All right, know the scene. Man, I'll tell you, Mike's dancing a jig.
We're doing the big band music,
man.
man.
I know, it's that big band music. Speaking of, so all alone, a little bit of crooning. Real quick, before we get back to Mike, if you like that big band type music you just heard, by the way, after Mike's show on Saturday, Cain Center for the Arts has the fabulous Equinox Orchestra, a big band, New Orleans style, big band, full band coming at you that Wednesday, September 13th. So come see Mike on Saturday, get your laughs in, come back on Wednesday and get you some big band. Really, really great show that's going to be as well. So, but enough of that. We're continuing with Mike Goodwin, who has less than 30 tickets left for this Saturday night's show. The first show on his Big Dad Energy tour. And I got to tell you, again, Lake Norman, listen, we are the first stop. Like, we're the first stop. That is a big deal for us, guys. Like, so please make sure Mike has a full house. Make sure you come out and show him some love. It's a big deal to get to be a guy like this, a big-time comedian like this, first show here in Lake Norman. So Mike, tell what motivated this Big Dad Energy tour?
Well, yeah,
what
we still have people a little bit on suspense about.
I'm sorry, we got to come back. I messed up.
Like we held on. It was like, wait a minute, the story. So quickly with the story, opportunity knocked, and this woman, she was a social worker out of North Carolina. She said, hey, I've seen your act a few times. Do you speak? And I didn't speak, but I didn't want to lose an opportunity. I said, hey, what do you need? She said, well, I'm hosting this this conference, this social workers conference. I would love for you to keynote it because I don't want to send these people home on a low note. We're going to be talking about difficult topics, neglect, abuse, budget cuts, things that are kind of challenging. She wanted them to leave on a high note. So I said, yeah. and we had some time. There was maybe 4 months, 4 or 5 months. I said, yeah, man, I definitely, yeah, I definitely can do that. So I came home and I started writing my keynote. And I put together this keynote that was void of any comedy. I don't know what in my brain made me say
Keynotes
take the
can't be funny.
It took, yeah, because I'm like, they want substance. They want a keynote. They want quotes and statistics and insights. And so I write, man, I put this presentation together. I do it for my wife. My wife says, this is the driest presentation I've ever seen in my life. She
Tingu.
said, where the jokes? I said, they don't want jokes. They want keynote. That's different. She said, if you don't put jokes inside of this, this will be your first and last keynote and opportunity. And so I put the jokes in there, and we've been at it ever since. And then fast forward, I had a friend of mine who is killing it. A guy by the name of Anton Gunn, leadership consultant, keynote speaker. I mean, this is a prominent individual. He calls me and says, hey, man, I need your help. And I'm like, doing what? Like, what do you need me help? What do you need my help for? And he basically was saying that his keynote was too heavy. It was taking people to a low place, and he wasn't able to like get them back up. So I said, man, just shoot me your presentation, and I'll take a look at it. And man, I just watched it, and I just wrote jokes on top of the things he was already saying. Like, I didn't take any new material.
Yeah.
I just added to the stories that he was saying. One of the things I remember, he was talking about how he loved breakfast. He was like, oh, I'm a breakfast guy. I love cereal. I love bacon. I love eggs. I'm like, you're a breakfastologist. Like, that was just something I wrote in there. Like, and so he's delivering this stuff, and it's working, and it's doing well. And so he started telling other people, because they were like, hey, man, how did your stuff is really entertaining. What happened? He was like, my friend, Mike Goodwin, he took a look at my keynote. He wrote some stuff. And so that kind of led to me being a content delivery coach and working with speakers and helping them to be more engaging, be more humorous, and be more impactful on stage in their presentation.
That's awesome. So opportunity knocked and you opened the door and went through.
The door stays open. I don't even lock the door. I just
That's great. And so
I
now you
stand
do,
by the door.
because I think earlier you said you were in Oklahoma doing like a kind of, I guess, a keynote type address. I guess.
Yeah, I had my comedy, but I had a message. I told them about working on the craft. Showing up for the big game, and yeah.
And so you'll go to, so what have you done? I think I saw you've done some, some church conferences, Fellowship Christian Athletes, things like that.
All types of, yeah, man. I've done senior living facility managers, a lot of healthcare industry. I've done a lot of school district openings, end of the year celebrations. So yeah, I'm man, I can pop up anywhere.
I love that. That's great. So we talked about comedian, we talked about speaker, talked about coach now, and then we got dad.
Big dad.
Is that what his
energy,
big dad
right?
energy comes in?
Big dad energy. Justin, basically, I'm looking out at entertainment and I'm like, where is me? Like, where's the type of dad that I am? Because a lot of
Where's clean Bill Cosby?
Yeah, like the guys are like the butt of the jokes, or they're the evil one in the situation. And I'm like, I'm not either of those. Like, so I'm like, where are the big dads? Like the dads who are really working at it and want to do a great job and be a good example and be a good husband and be a good friend. Like, I don't want to just be one thing. And so that's kind of the idea. Even growing up, I mean, I remember watching guys like on the Jeffersons and Good Times and Fred. Dads were pretty prominent. They were prominent fixtures in entertainment. I don't feel like that's what's happening now.
Yeah, man, I remember growing up, Winslow.
Yeah, Carl Winslow.
Man.
Yeah,
That was
Uncle
one
Phil.
of like, yeah, Uncle Phil. Yeah, man, those were like they were top TV dads. They really were,
Top
man.
dads. The guy, I can't remember the show, but Michael Fox was on it. His dad.
Michael J. Fox,
Michael J. Fox, yeah, he was
oh,
like
God.
the young Republican on this show. His dad was a cool guy. You had Tony Danza was a dad over.
Tony Danza.
It's a lot of dads, man. I was very influenced by dads in television. So I want to be an example of like, man, that's a swell guy, man. That's a good dude. And I am. Like, it's not an act. Like, what happened to just the good guys? The good guys don't always finish last.
That's right. I agree with that. And I love that, man. Bringing the big dad energy here. here at Cornelius this weekend on Saturday. Again, cainarts.org for tickets. And a little bit of time left. If anyone's got any questions or anything from Mike, you can call 844-788-3464. Mike, so where next, man? After this weekend, like what's on your plate coming up? What can people keep their eyes out for?
So after that weekend, I'm actually going to be on the Today Show that following week. I think, maybe. Yeah.
All right.
Promoting the tour. We're trying to get it in before Cornelius, but we're going to try to get.
That's okay. You were on local news here in Charlotte last Saturday. I appreciate that. That was a surprise. I didn't even know you were doing that.
I jumped in the car that morning, went up, did that interview, and came right back home.
Oh man, well, we appreciate it. I loved it. I didn't even know I saw it on your Instagram. I sent it to my marketing director. I was like, "Did you know this was happening?" They were like, "No."
Yeah. Hey man, we're partnering with y'all to sell these tickets, man. Like
I know we appreciate it. Today's show, that's big.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get my brand and my name and what I'm doing out to more people.
I love that, man. I love that. So is your tour? I mean, is it 4 months, 6 months? I mean, how long do you foresee? You just keep adding dates as it comes.
I think we're going to keep adding dates. So I think that was the idea. This is kind of prove yourself run for me. You know, I want to introduce myself to the market, to theaters, to places that say, "Oh man, this guy sold these tickets in Cornelius. Man, he'll do great here." So that was kind of the idea. Let's get some proof of concept. And then let's move forward.
Yeah.
See if we can add on other dates.
So folks, so first of all, again, like if you've enjoyed Mike today, which I'm sure you have, because I know I have, don't like go follow him on social media stuff, right? Like do that, join his mailing list. As soon as you go to his website, he'll ping you to get on his email list, do that. But then also, by the way, if you're a business owner looking for a speaker to come in or anything, you can have Mike do that. But also, tell your friends and family in other cities. Right, to go out, and if he's playing near them, to go see him. And if he's not playing, tell them that they should call their local theater, performing arts center, or club or something, and say, "Get Mike Goodwin up in here."
I love it.
That's what we want, man. That's what we want. What do you So I want to come back to you earlier with a little bit of time we have left. What is it? You've been all around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it like? Is there a difference playing to hometown Southeastern crowds versus other places of the country? I mean, you've done Dry Bar, which is in Utah, I think.
Provo, Utah.
Yeah. So I feel like there's some stories that could happen right here about the difference between hometowns, South Carolina, North Carolina crowds,
right,
versus like other places in the country.
So there's two things distinctly that comes to mind. Number one, in the South, I don't have to give background. Like what I say when it's raining and the sun is shining, what do people say? They say the devil's beating his wife. I don't have to. Hey guys, have y'all heard about this expression? Like when I'm in the South, I say fixin' and fintu.
Yes.
Like people are with me when I
Yes.
say these things. In other places, I have to give some context. I have to say, hey guys, in the South where I live, we have this common expression, and so I gotta position it. There's times where like I go to places that don't have a Waffle
60?
House. And I'm like,
No Waffle House.
no Waffle House, but I explained.
Were you
to people,
outside of
I said,
America?
About that. But I explained to them, I said, if you're not familiar with a Waffle House, think about a restaurant in a gas station minus the gas station. And that's the Waffle House.
And the sign never works all the way.
That's the Waffle House.
That is
But
the Waffle
yeah,
House.
so it commonly, I don't have to do all these things. The other thing I realized, though, there's certain places that it doesn't really feel different than anywhere else. I just recently was in El Dorado, Arkansas. I flew into Monroe, Louisiana, and drove over. And driving over, it looked like I could have been in Greensboro or in Florence or in Austin, Texas. Like there's certain areas is just like, hey man, this looks all the same. There's
About 10
Subway,
seconds.
there's a Ross, there's a TJ Maxx. Like all of these things are pretty consistent.
All right. Well, hey, well, we're going to keep it consistent for you this weekend, North Carolina style, up here, Cain Center for the Arts. Come see Mike Goodwin Saturday night, cainarts.org. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Look forward to seeing you this weekend, man.
Yes, sir.
Tune in next week, y'all. Know the scene.